Give you the feedback I got is, as far as tying in Lake Billsby, I always thought that, you know, the trails are right down to Hannah's Bend there. What's the big deal? Tie it in. But I ended up having 3 people get a hold of me and say that they were hoping we wouldn't tie the Lake Billsby Trail in along the river down there. And I said, well, why is that? And they said, because there's not many bikers down there now. That's a real nice walking trail. And they said it's a good place for families to walk up to Hannah's Bend and use the facilities at the park and walk back. And they're afraid that the bike traffic will be heavy if we put that down through there. So this is the kind of input that I've gotten, and I would like to share with the park board to get input about this. And I think it's hopefully a good thing. And
I'm sorry, Leroy, were you attempting to answer my question? Because you totally didn't. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I asked if there was a list of parks that would fall under the purview of the park board. I understand your justification and reasoning, and it sounds very sound to want to have a park board.
I
But
think-
that park board, were it to be established, how many and what facilities and locations would be under the supervision of this park board? That was my question.
All the parks, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't know what that means. All the parks.
Tom's got a list.
Great.
Upper Lower Hannah's Bend, Two Rivers Park, Depot Park, or it'd be South Pines Park, Troll Haven.
Is there an existing list, like if I Googled
There's a
Cannon Falls
map.
parks?
The chamber has a map with some of the parks.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I do have,
Okay.
I do have a list with addresses I could copy and get to you.
I think if we were going to establish a board, we will want to define the scope of their oversight with something in writing that says these are the parks that would be within the scope of this board's responsibility. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That'd be my suggestion. Great.
Well, I also think you just made a great suggestion. I don't know why, I'm not a technology person, but my family is. I don't know why these parks aren't all listed on our websites and stuff. So I think you just made a great point.
Leroy, what do you think about the John Birch Park? Would you want that to be under the city's auspices? Would you want to get a separate school city committee? Because I know that there's a wall down there that's in pretty major need of repair.
I would like to have the John Birch Park under that because it always was before. Some of the concerns I have about the John Birch Park, the reason I'd like it in there is because this should be a community.
And trying to determine which ones would be more important than others. So for instance, for us, one of the items that I am pushing forward through this planning process and has been included in this plan is getting the sewer bridge buried underneath the river. So if we are eligible for any grants from FEMA or any other government agencies, having it included in our mitigation plan allows us eligibility for that. If it's not included, FEMA and some of the other grants won't be applicable for it. You have things like safe rooms for schools or mobile home park communities or pre-manufactured housing communities that could be and are included in some of this stuff. It's really taking a much broader look at potential disasters and then putting them into this in a sort of a list so that if there are grants and stuff that are available, one of the criteria, especially from FEMA, is that what you're seeking the grant for is included in your all hazards mitigation. The effort there is to mitigate the hazard that occurs.
Okay. So it's mostly about the town. It's not necessarily about semi.
Nope, this is part of a county-wide. Goodhue County has adopted it. What we're at is, as a community within Goodhue County, is adopting it so that we're also eligible as a community.
Okay. And the one thing I would bring up, and I think Linnell would probably know more about this than any of us up here, but I know like 3-4 years ago, we were taking the sewer crossing bridge very serious down there. And at that time, I thought we had some stuff lined up.
Well, that was part of a DNR grant, and the DNR grant, I think we got a portion of it that allowed us to do the engineering study on it, but was not to do the, several $100,000 that it'll take to actually put it under.
I think at that time it was like 700,000 or something, wasn't it?
The grant?
No, the cost of
The
doing it.
cost, Leroy, is about 500,000 to bury it under the river and to have a lift station installed. Like you said, it was a grant for the study. It was, I believe it was like $30,000 to $50,000.
I was going to say close to 50,
It
but
wasn't enough that we could come up with the rest of the money on our own, so.
Right.
just kind of-
And last session, when we went up to St. Paul, we took some information up there to our legislators trying to get it through with the bonding and some of the other programs up there. And when St. Paul didn't do anything, it just kind of fell off. But we're going back up there again this year. We'll take it back up and talk to our state legislators to see what we can do about getting some funds to get that taken care of. Because it's probably going to be a bonding bill this year, so.
and it addresses much more than just that, Leroy. For instance, right now, I believe we have included in there river crossing that would be at the east end of the community that would tie in with the new 25 at some point down the road. That's included in there. So if at some point federal money becomes available, having it in there as part of your mitigation projects just buys you more points or credibility in that grant application process.
Right. And the other thing I would point out, then I'll leave you alone, is that it's not only our sewer crossing that's a major thing, but we do have a water main hanging on that Third Street Bridge.
Yep, that's actually built
And-
into the mitigation, is not just burying the sewer, but putting a water line in that
Right.
same trench.
And the gas company is also on there too, and I did contact the gas company a year ago. And, that's something that Ron should probably talk to them more about, but there is something when their contract runs up, they have to get rid of it. But if we do something with that bridge, then we're liable to cover it if we haven't got the bridge there to support it. So I think there's some legal stuff with that we need to think about. But I'd like to make a motion to go ahead with that.
Okay, I have a motion by Leroy. And a second by Morris to approve Resolution 2254, adopting the Goodhue County All Hazard Mitigation Plan. Any further discussion? Not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. That moves us on to item 7D, which is the just and correct claims for the accounting period ending December 30th, 2016.
One thing I noticed on there was a line for cracked corn and oats, and I'm just puzzled as to what we would be buying it for.
Yeah, and that's for our swans.
Oh, okay. That was my only question about it.
Is that what they like? I bought duck food. They like that too.
I got a little worried when I heard you say cracked.
Got your attention, huh?
Any other
I
discussion?
just couldn't figure out why we'd be buying that. So.
All right. Anything else? If not, Chair, take a motion to approve item 7D, which is the just and correct claims for the accounting period ending December 30th, 2016.
So moved.
Motion by Ken, second by Morris. Any further discussion? Not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. That moves us on to reports. Tom?
Hopefully, the weather looks like it's going to cooperate with us in one way this week. We're going to be out cleaning, trying to get some of the stormwater to go away from us, but we're probably also going to lose the ice rink as part of the deal, so that's about all I have unless there's any questions.
Nope, I mean, you guys have done a good job. That last snowstorm, everything was cleaned up. I got a lot of compliments about the job you guys do downtown, and we actually had an individual come in from Red Wing for a meeting that morning, and he couldn't believe how clean you guys had downtown already by 7 o'clock in the morning, so good job on that.
timing has been kind of weird this year as far as catching us off guard and as far as what's gotten packed down, but I think all in all, things are going well. Couple new operators, but they'll learn the ropes and get a little closer to the curbs as we go.
Hey, every year's a new year.
I did think of you yesterday morning when there was raining. The first thing that came to mind is, I wonder how Tom's ice rinks are going.
They're looking good, but like I said,
They got a good glaze on them anyway.
I won't count on Wednesday, Thursday.
And Jeff?
Just following up on Tom's weather component, for us, residents have been really good on getting their vehicles off the street, so we haven't had to issue tickets and tow during the snow events very much, which is always good. But with this warming weather, what we're going to see, as Tom alluded to, is some pooling of water and that type of stuff. The temperature's going to dip again, so especially in the mornings when you're heading out, just be careful at the intersections. Tom guys do a great job. But if there's enough water, it's going to overtop the sand and stuff. And we just hate to see people have accidents either going to work or coming home from work and school, that type of stuff. That's all I have.
Thanks. Ron?
Thank you. Congratulations to Chief Anderson, another year at the helm. Library Director, the search committee is meeting a week from, actually Monday night next week, to review applications and select interviewing finalists. The 3rd Street Bridge project, the Greg Isaacson has put out RFPs as of this week for engineers to do that project. We have ads going out this week for the joint planning employee, the collaborative effort between Goodhue County and the city. So those ads are going out. Applications are due, I believe it's February 10th. And related to the sanitary sewer bridge, I did speak with Greg Anderson last week, and he is going to be talking to the PCA about a grant for that sanitary sewer bridge project also. And then, if you recall, when we were discussing the River Road project last year, the sanitary sewer, it was suggested by the PCA that if we do submit an application, we put in an application to have sewer installed in that particular area, River Road, to serve those 3 properties. So Greg was going to be talking to the person in charge of that. Well, those applications are due in March, so we'll be coming back to you. If we submit, we'll get approval, of course, to submit. That's all I have.
Linnell? Mike?
Yeah, I was approached by an individual last week who was wondering about an in-town deer bow hunting season. With the overabundance of deer and some of the chronic wasting stuff, he said that there's been quite a few communities that have set up like a 2-day bow hunting season on public land in the city. So I told him I would bring it up. I don't know if anybody in the council has the stomach to do anything along those lines. I don't know. But I don't even know who would discuss that.
I think we'd probably have to get with the DNR to make a determination on the population here in the city limits.
That's what I asked him if there was, I mean, I don't have any in my yard.
I get a couple
He
that
said
come in the
park
backyard,
that much.
but
I'll just sit on my porch and shoot them.
Well, one thing is with that situation, the city does have a lot of land out the country, down beyond the public works and out in that area. So, I know they're doing that. I think that's something that Ron could probably check into, but I just soon they aren't shooting them off the back deck or anything. But we do have some land that possibly could be included in the hunt on some ends of town.
yeah, that'd be something we check with the DNR, see what they say the population. For a while, the population in this area was down, so be something to check with them on to see what they think.
I'll get together with you sometime in the next week or so, and I don't mind contacting
No,
the DNR, that's fine.
About a dozen.
My guess is the DNR has some protocol
land behind
that
me.
would permit cities to do that.
I'm sitting there going, what be-
Population counts may be part of that in trying to figure out the density and that type of thing. Within our city, we'd probably end up having to either enact an ordinance that would cover that or alter our existing ordinances to
It doesn't get
permit
saved.
that activity.
I had made him no promises. I
A
just
dozen
don't
gets
promise to bring it
Yeah,
up.
that's a lot.
The only thing I was going to bring up is something that Leroy already mentioned, is the dog park. There remain a number of very interested parties in establishing something like that. So I don't have anything else than that.
I have nothing.
Leroy?
Yeah, I got a few things here. First of all, for the council members, I waved Dave Pagel down this week, and they asked him if City Hall had informed them guys that when you're on the council, they're supposed to do our driveways. And he said that he had been informed, but it was probably June before they would get at it. So I guess we aren't gonna get any perks here. The other thing is, we had our first library meeting, and the town should be so grateful because we have such a good staff down there of caring people, that whatever the time it takes to work on a new director, I would not be in too big a hurry or whatever it takes, because they really are committed and doing a good job. I call it a little bit of the Linnell syndrome down there, that when something happens at the top, the staff, the lower staff does such a good job, things just keep rolling along. I also would like to mention that one of the gals down there that has been with us for many years and has had a heck of a commitment to that library is going through some serious medical issues right now, so everybody should send a card or a flower or keep her in your care and thoughts, and the city wishes her the best. The other thing I wanted to bring up and not discuss is I went to the last Public Works meeting, and it was scheduled at 5:30, and I felt like there could have been a lot more discussed. So I was kind of hoping Public Works meetings could be at least an hour and a half. It came down to where some of this more stuff couldn't be discussed because the council meeting was started. So just keep that in mind. I'm not on that, but keep that in mind. The other thing is, I want to congratulate Todd, plus our two other local people that are the new people on our fire department director and stuff. And just tell everybody that I know all three of these people, and we're very blessed and very lucky, and they're very dedicated to their job. The other thing that I was hoping Dave was here tonight, because I really concerned about the cab situation that got brought up last time. And I don't know if it takes some kind of subsidy on part of the EDA or whatever, but if anybody has an interest in a cab company in town, please come see Dave, because this is such an important thing for our elderly citizens that need a trip to the grocery store. It's also important for, with our chemical health initiative, working with people to be more aware about getting a ride home instead of driving. So I think our cab company is a big thing. The other thing is that the park board thing, I would just like to say that if there's any citizens out there that have interest, please contact Ron or contact me, and I will do my best to get this set up in a good way and make a good contribution to our town. Thank you.
And as far as the cab goes, Leroy, I made a list the other day, and I've started trying to make contact with some of the cab companies out in the outlying cities. I know Red Wing Cab Company will come to Cannon Falls, but, I mean, you might be waiting a while. They're not here during the daytime, but, I mean, they could call them. I don't know what the cost is, but they will cover Cannon Falls if somebody really needed to get someplace. But still working on that. That's a list that's what we're going to have to do, and if there's anybody else, like you said, that would like to start it, I mean, we can definitely discuss it with the
Yeah,
EDA or
I
other
think,
places.
you know, if I'd have known about it coming, and this is what I'd like other industries to know, is that if you're in a situation where there just isn't the volume and stuff to make it work in town, then come and see Dave, and let's see what we can do to support and help that. I believe it's Isani County now, the beverage companies reimbursed bars that call people and stuff. So there's different ways we can do things to help support this. So yeah, thank you. I think we need to keep an open mind on this.
Yep.
And Leroy, just as clarification in regards to the Public Works, typically we do meet earlier at 5 o'clock. It was just an exception last meeting that it was pushed, and the time was changed to 5:30.
Oh, we
So,
got that
but under
guy
normal
on here, I
circumstances.
gotta learn the process.
Yeah.
I thought we weren't discussing that. I thought you said we couldn't discuss it, because you actually left before we finished the meeting. That's why, we talked about the truck after you left,
Right.
which is why you didn't know about some of that stuff that we talked about the truck.
Right.
So the meeting continued, and we were able to finish, I think, all of the items on the agenda. We did have to rush towards the end.
We had one item that we did not cover
Okay.
at the end, and we pushed it to the next meeting.
I think if anything, we may end up, we could meet more regularly. We could do it more than monthly if we needed to. We could do it bi-weekly, as we do with their council meetings.
I think sometimes it would just stay on course. You know, sometimes
Yep, I
some
think that,
topics expand way beyond what
yep,
the scope of what they should at that meeting.
yep. We're going to be formalizing the agenda formation process going forward.
Yeah?
Okay. Ken?
Well, a while back in December, I asked Tom about taking a tour of the Public Works, and almost 2 weeks ago, I got to go through the stormwater and sewer plant, and I was very impressed with that. Mike was with me, and one thing we were discussing after having met is, maybe we did like an open house, and so that the public could see what is involved. Maybe people wouldn't be complaining about their sewer and water bills so much.
You think so?
I think-
I think that's part of the fun, though, to complain of a little bit.
That's all.
I have nothing tonight, just everybody drive safe, stay warm. I was looking at the calendar today, and it's not going to be long, we're going to go back to daylight savings time, so spring's coming. So hang in there. That, the chair will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.